Hey everyone, I am at Cedar Creek Falls here in the San Diego area. 80-foot waterfall, beautiful swimming hole right here, and really special, nice place. Now the hike is about 6 miles and it starts downhill. You go all the way downhill to the falls and you got to climb back out, so make sure you have enough energy in the tank for that. And you also need a permit to do this hike because of some trouble they had a while ago. They closed the area down for a while and now it's a permit system. I'll talk about that in the guide on HikingGuy.com. And if you're on YouTube, there's a link to that right underneath the video. I'm not putting it in the video because the permit situation could change, and I will keep the website updated. I can't change the video. What I can do in the video is show you the turn-by-turn directions on the trails to get to this spot so that you know what to expect and you can do it safely. Now, as you're watching this video, if you could do me a big favor and click that little thumbs up button, that will help the channel tremendously and also helps other people find the video so they can come and do the hike safely as well. So thank you in advance for that. Without further ado, Cedar Creek Falls.
All right, so from the parking area, you're just going to walk up past the toilets, cross the street here, where you will find the trail board. And you're going to want to sign in on the register here with your permit number. Sometimes there's a volunteer here. This isn't really your permit check. That usually happens down by the falls, but they want you to sign in as well. And we're going to continue on the well-marked and easy-to-follow trail. Now, you'll see these mileage signs along the way. Very, very helpful. They have them every quarter of a mile to maybe half a mile, all the way down to the San Diego River area. So really helpful, especially when you're climbing back out. And here you can see another one of those signs to help you. Now, the climb back out is the difficult part, so these signs come in handy then when you need to know how much you have left to go. Now, my favorite part of the hike, or favorite part of the hike, is this part here where you wind around to the right and you get these beautiful views down into the San Diego River Gorge. That pointy peak is Eagle Peak there. It's like something out of Lord of the Rings, especially when it's all green like it is here in the spring. Really, really beautiful as you continue down there. I love the views. And there's a couple of these little shelters along the way that they've built to give people shade. Now, when you hike back out, it's totally exposed. There's not really any shade. There's some little benches like this where you can get a little bit of shade. And because there's a lot of beginners who are attracted to this hike, people don't estimate what it takes to get out of here. It's kind of like the Grand Canyon where people hike down and they have trouble hiking back. So make sure you give yourself enough energy to do that before you leave the falls. Here's another sign. As we go down here, you can see the trail unfurling in front of you down the side of the hill. There's some wider switchbacks. There it goes. There's some wider switchbacks as we go down there, but that little notch in there is where the falls are. And that's where we're going to head as we go down here. Here's another shelter. Now, from that second shelter there that you saw, it gets kind of flat for a while. And when you come back, that flat part is going to be a welcome break. Now, the trails are uphill when you come back, but they're not really, really steep like some of the trails you find in San Diego. It's more of a gradual graded climb. So definitely doable. Just pace yourself and keep on going. Now, here we are, another mileage sign. You can see we're closer. We didn't have any junctions or anything. We're just following this trail all the way down here. But you can see the trees and the more lush fauna around the San Diego River, which is going to be the first one we cross on the way down here. And here you can see we're entering it, a couple little switchbacks, and that's the trail right down there. And this is the end of the climb. So when you come back, this is where your climb is going to start. And once you get through there, we have our first crossing, which is actually the San Diego River. It doesn't look like a river, but it is. And when it's been raining out, this will be higher. I've walked through this when it's up to my knees, so just a heads up. And it obviously can be lower, but most of the time you can just hop over those rocks like I just did and not get wet at all, which is nice. Now, shortly after that, we're going to come to the only real intersection or junction on this hike. And we're going to go straight through here. You can see it's well marked, pointing us to the falls when we come back up to the trailhead. That's another trail that you can take up to Eagle Peak, but we're not going to do that today. Instead, we're going to go straight. And from here on out, it's going to be kind of a gradual uphill to the falls. And we're also entering the permit area. So if you go past that fence, you will need a permit here or you risk getting a ticket, which does happen. I talked to the ranger. He said he tickets people all the time. So just a heads up. And once you pass that and you go a little while, you're going to cross over Cedar Creek. And again, you can hop over this. Sometimes it's much lower, sometimes it's a little bit higher. This is probably a medium flow in here, but you can hop over and follow the trail on the other side. Now I wear trail runners just in case they get wet. They get dry pretty quickly, but do whatever's comfortable for you, but do have good hiking footwear if you have it. And once we do that crossing of Cedar Creek, we're going to cross it again in a minute or two. And this will be our last crossing on the way to the falls. And obviously you have to cross these on the way back, but nothing too tough here as you go across. Having a trekking pole will help you balance. You can see I'm hopping across with a camera in one hand, so it is doable, not too crazy relative to other stream crossings. Now from here on out, the trail gets kind of rocky and it gets narrower as you come up along Cedar Creek, which is on the right-hand side there. There it is, nice amount of water in there. And we're almost at the falls at this point, just a few more minutes. Now, you can go straight up along the creek and climb over the rocks to get up here, but I find this little trail to the, see there's somebody up there along the rocks, this little trail to the left is a little bit easier. It's more of a trail on dirt as opposed to a rock scramble. And when you come around here, you can see the trail is easy to follow. And I like this way too because you get a nice view of the falls as you approach, which is right there. You can probably hear it before you see it. And there it is. And then from here, we're just going to keep on going straight. And then you're going to come up to another group of rocks. There's a sign saying not to leave your dog poop here. Gives you an idea of the crowds that you'll probably find. But come early, beat the crowds. It's definitely much nicer when it's early. You're just going to scramble up these last rocks in the end. And then you will reach the falls. Now, you can go in the water, you can swim, but you can't climb up and jump, and there's no alcohol. So please be careful, give yourself some energy, and then you just go back the way you came.
So that's it. Really, really cool hike. Highly recommend trying this one if you have not done it already. And remember to get your permit beforehand. They do check for permits here, so it is important. And if you stick around for a second, I'll show you what the hike looks like on a 3D map so you can kind of get a lay of the land. But otherwise, I'll see you guys out on the trails. All right, bye.
Okay, so here's the parking area, and I mentioned just walk up. There's the toilet, and there's the trailhead. One thing to note, and I talk about this in the Guide and Hiking Guide, when you drive here, it feels like you're driving through a dead-ended residential neighborhood. Please be respectful. It does go through this area here, but then the trailhead is right at the end. And from the start here, we're going to go down, and this is the part where it winds around over here, and we get the views into the gorge, which if I zoom out a little bit, you'll be able to see. Down there is the gorge. And we're going to continue around. That shelter is right around here, and then you start to twist and do these switchbacks as you head down. Here's that flat section that I mentioned earlier. It'll be a nice respite as you head back up. Last couple of switchbacks, then you go straight down and cross the San Diego River, which is right here. Here's that junction. I mentioned the other trail that went up to the peak is right there. And then if I zoom in a little bit, you can see there's a little bit of a flat section. There's our first crossing of Cedar Creek. There's our second crossing of Cedar Creek. We wind around to the narrow part here, head up, and then we're at the falls. Look at that. You can actually see the falls on Google Earth. Now, once again, you can't climb up. There are other trails. You can see these used trails here. That is all closed to the public, so please don't climb up there and jump off. People have died here. People get rescued all the time. I talked to the ranger. He said the helicopter is here pretty regularly to pull people out who get in over their heads. So please prepare accordingly. Have fun. Enjoy it. It truly is one of the most beautiful places here in Southern California. I really love it. And I hope you get a chance to check it out as well. All right, that's it.